Well, good evening. Good evening. This is RC Blakes, and I want to welcome you back to another Let's Talk with RC Blakes tonight. Please invite some others to come in and to be a part of our conversation. Tonight, we're talking about how a woman builds unshakable confidence. How a woman builds unshakable confidence, and how a lack of confidence in a woman is tragic. This is going to be a good one tonight. It's going to help you. In fact, about it, if you're a brother listening in, these principles apply to you as well. So just invite some others to come in and tell them to be a part of our conversation tonight. I am so thoroughly glad to be with you once again. How's everybody doing? Why don't you put something in the chat? Let us know how you're doing. Where are you from? What part of the world? I'm trying to get this mic situated. What part of the world are you from? What part of the United States are you from? How's everybody doing? That's not what I want. Well, it is what it is. Let's talk tonight about building an unshakable confidence. Because if there's anything that plagues, well, I was getting ready to say the modern woman, but probably women of every generation, it has been and yet is a lack of confidence in many cases. Now, I know there are some that are saying, well, I don't lack any confidence. Well, you can be fully confident in one area of your life and completely vulnerable or uncomfortable, or you can lack confidence in another part. And when it comes down to the woman, the world has somewhat engineered an intentional breakdown of the woman's confidence, which leads to what I call broken consciousness. It's when she can no longer locate her identity in God and settles for an identity that the world forces her to adopt. It goes back to a lack of confidence. Now, the tragedy of a woman without confidence entails a few things. Number one, it entails an internal imprisonment. When you lack confidence, there's an internal imprisonment. You become trapped by your own self-doubt. You become incarcerated to your own fear and a relentless inner critic, preventing authentic self-expression. Number two, and this is just introduction. You have, when a woman lacks confidence, she goes through cycles of relational superficiality. You settle for all of these superficial relationships because your lack of confidence does not make you comfortable in waiting for the real thing. So you settle for men that only want your body. You settle for men that only want, a good time, only want to spend the night with you and not a life with you. You settle for relational superficiality. So your relationships suffer because you lack the confidence to wait and to believe that you are the prize and that you deserve the very, very best relationally. So you settle in that area. Number three is when tragedy of a woman lacking confidence is you experience unlived life. All of your unique ideas, your talents, even the leadership that's in you, all of these things remain unshared, leading to a missed opportunity called life. All life is an opportunity. Every day you wake up, it's an opportunity. If you live it or not is a choice. Ooh, that's a t-shirt right there. Somebody mark it down that I said that. I hope I didn't read that somewhere and don't remember I read it. What did I just say, actually? Life is an opportunity. Every day you wake up is an opportunity. Whether you live it or not, whether you live your life is a choice. And when you lack confidence, you have a lot of unlived life going down the drain every December 31st, every January 1. And then there's number 4, the betrayal of your potential. The ultimate tragedy is a triple loss. For yourself, you deny yourself joy. For your community, you deny them deep connection with you. And the world, you deny your unique contributions. Betrayal of your potential, all because you lack confidence. Now, a woman without confidence, listen to this statement very carefully. A woman without confidence is a bird with a broken wing. She possesses all the innate beauty and potential for flight, but remains tragically grounded, watching life from the shadows of her own doubts. So she has innate potential like the bird does, symbolizing your inherent beauty, your strength, and your capability. You are a bird. You were created by the Creator to fly. But then there's the crippling element, the broken wing. It's not a lack of ability, but a crippling injury that causes your confidence to drain, which keeps you what? Grounded. And then we see the tragic outcome of your being grounded. You're forced to be a spectator to your own life, unable to soar, unable to fulfill the destiny that the Creator put you in the earth for. I love what the Bible says in Philippians chapter 1 and verse 6. It says, being confident of this very thing, that he which hath begun a good work in you will perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. In other words, whatever God started in you, he will finish. And our confidence is in him. It's in him that we live, move, and have our being. So when you show up huge in the world, it's not based on your abilities. It's not based on your beauty. It's not based on your brilliance. It's based on the fact that you are the marvelous, excellent creation of God. And he that hath begun this great work in you will perform it. So don't try to find confidence in your wardrobe. Don't try to find confidence in, more expensive labels or less or more fabric, if you catch my drift. You're not gonna find confidence at the end of that road. Though I celebrate high educational feats, don't try to find confidence in your education. Your confidence that would be unshakable and sustainable is the confidence that you will find in him. So tonight, I want to lay out, got my brush in the shot. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Tonight, I want to lay out um, what does it look like? What does building an unshakable life of confidence and purpose look like? Number one, if you're going to be a woman with unshakable, sustainable confidence, no matter what the world throws at you, no matter, you know, what corporate America does or corporate Europe or whatever the other titles might be for the rest of the world, no matter what men may say or do or not do, no matter what your relational status, number one, if you're going to be a woman of unshakable confidence, number one, you're going to have to know your purpose. Because your purpose in the journey of life is like your compass, you know? It's like your compass. Your compass gives you an idea as it relates to the general direction that you're headed in, be it north, south, east, or west. The compass will let you know. And so when you don't know your purpose, you're like a man or a woman journeying through the world, feeling like you're going south when you're really going north. Because in a world of endless options, listen to this very carefully. In a world of endless options and competing demands, a clear sense of purpose will act as a true north, guiding decisions and providing a reason to preserve or persevere when challenges arise. When you know your purpose and you start going, when you should be going north, you're going east or west, your purpose will let you know, the little needle of your purpose will let you know, oh, this is not the direction I should be going in. And maybe this is why so many women get caught up, sidetracked, and put off track by unnecessary relationships. Maybe it's because you sought a relationship with another person before you really understood your purpose. You see, your person doesn't come before your purpose. Your person follows your purpose because your person has to align with your purpose. Your purpose is not going to align with somebody you picked. I don't know, but I'm saying some stuff tonight that I have never said before. I need somebody to, one of my moderators, please, y'all type that stuff and send it to me so I can remember this stuff. This stuff needs to be in a book somewhere. You need to know your purpose before you meet your person, because your purpose is not going to acquiesce to the person you may pick, but your person is going to have to fit into your purpose. And so many of you are miserable and you're losing time. You've lost time because you haven't known your purpose. Your purpose is the answer to the question, why does any of this matter? I've gone through some very dark and difficult seasons in my life, but because I knew my purpose, I understood why I needed to continue and contend. I understood why it mattered, even though it felt unfair, it felt unnecessary, it was absolutely uncomfortable. Because I knew my purpose, I knew why it mattered that I would continue. And it was my purpose that gave me confidence to fight through it, because I knew why God put me in the earth. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." God knows the plan. So watch this. Everybody wants to know, how can I learn my purpose? And, we have a lot of philosophical answers to this question. I've even come up with some. But the reality is, if you want to know, Miles Monroe famously said, if you want to know the purpose for a thing, go to its creator. If you want to know your purpose, you got to go back to your creator. And I mean, I know we all have different views on spirituality and all of that, but I'm here to tell you, the moon and the stars didn't create you. Everybody talking about the Big Bang, but where the bang came from. All of this is by design. You don't have a world, you don't have a human species and all of the billions or trillions of species on the planet without a designer. You really believe that all of that was a mistake? I wish my money in my bank account would just mistakenly generate like that. No, there has to be a designer. And if you want to know your purpose, you got to go back to the designer. For he knows the plans that he has for you. Romans 8:28 says, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Your purpose is found in him. And if you want to live a life of confidence, stop searching for purpose in relationships or men or jobs or titles or things or money. All of these things are fleeting. None of these things are eternal. You must search for purpose in your Creator. That's bigger than religion. That's even bigger than going to church. And I'm a pastor of a church, so you know how I feel about people going to church. I think you should. I just think you should go to the right one. But there's some things that are bigger than going to church. You got to develop a personal fellowship with your God, with the Almighty, with your Creator, and it is then that He will give you clarity relative to your purpose. And when you have clarity of purpose, you have confidence in your heart. Viktor Frankl said, those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. When you know why, how it, whatever it takes to make it happen, how it needs to go, you can deal with that. When you understand the why, when you know the purpose, you can process the pain. Number two, so we said, first of all, a woman that's going to build a life of unshakable confidence, she must know her purpose. Know your purpose. Your purpose is your what? Compass. Letting you know if you're going in the general right direction or not. Number two, you must build supportive systems. Once you know the general direction, now you build supportive systems that help you to get from point A to B to C to D to E to F to G to H to I to J to K to L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y and finally Z. Now you know I know my ABCs. And this is the map. Building supportive systems is the map. Purpose is the compass. North, south, east, west. But the map is intentionally building supportive systems in your life to keep you going in the right direction, one step at a time, because willpower is finite. It's a finite resource. And willpower depletes itself very quickly. Motivation, confidence, these things are sustained not by sheer grit, but by designing an environment, a map, if you would, that makes the right actions easier and the wrong actions harder. It's about creating routines and structures that automate progress. You know, like I've started this habit, Lisa and I've started this habit in our home, and a lot of people have always had it. We've been doing it, I guess, a year or so, where we take our shoes off, at the door most of the time, just to be exact about it. But most of the time, we take our shoes off at the door. And since I started walking a lot, I noticed, and this was unintentional, I noticed that when I would come from my walks, I would take my shoes off at the door and leave them at the front door or the side door, wherever. And I noticed that when I would wake up the next day, my shoes would almost coach me into walking today. Come here. We haven't taken our walk. My shoes sitting at the door was like an automation. It was a supportive system. Come on, we got to take our walk. If you're going to be a confident woman, you're going to have to build supportive systems that keep you on track with your best version. Proverbs 14:1 says, "The wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands the foolish one tears hers down." In the process of the wise woman building her house, she builds in systems of sustainability. Luke 14:28 says, "Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it?" You got to have systems in your life that help you to get from A to Z. And when you have the systems, you always have something to fall back on. You know exactly where to go. When life gets chaotic, when things get hectic, and people, get flaky, you can always go back to your systems. Like when Katrina, the massive hurricane that rocked the Gulf Coast, more specifically the city of New Orleans 20 years ago, 2005, wiped out everything, just wiped out our ministry and everything. And I had to start over again. Well, because I didn't enjoy the idea of starting over again. After I was 40 years old, I had been working to build ministry for 18 years or more. And we had just gotten to a place where I was working hard to get to, and then all of a sudden overnight it was wiped out. And now I'm back at square zero, got to start over again. Well, though it was not comfortable, it wasn't impossible because I had done it before. And so the systems that I had used previously, many of those systems came back to serve the rebuild. I use them as a map. Okay, you got to go from here to here, then you got to go from here to here. And pastors that did not have that experience of building ministry from the ground up, many of them were kind of lost because they didn't have systems. They didn't have the map. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, very famous book, says, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your system." So if you're going to be a woman with, great confidence, you're going to have to be a woman that has great systems, because goals are about the desired outcome, but systems are about the process that leads to it. And what this does for you, when you have the right systems, watch this, you are less needy of other people's handouts or cooperation. When you have systems for your life, you learn how to fall back on your faith in God and your trust in the systems that brought you thus far. Number 3, that would be 3. It's another kind of 3 than another language. This is 3. Number 3, you got to celebrate. This is how a woman builds an unshakable confidence. You got to celebrate all of your tiny steps. This is your fuel. Your what do we say? Your purpose is your compass, right? Your systems are your map. The celebration of every tiny step is your fuel. This is how you journey into great confidence that is unshakable. Grand goals can feel overwhelming and even distant, leading to discouragement. Motivation and confidence are fueled by acknowledging and celebrating the small incremental victories along the way. And each tiny step releases confidence. The brain's reward system, which reinforces the behavior and makes you want to continue. Every tiny step that you celebrate, it just fills the brain with confidence. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. And sometimes you got to be your own cheerleader. You're waiting on somebody else to cheer you. You're griping that your friends don't celebrate you. You're griping that, your man doesn't celebrate you. Your family doesn't celebrate you. But have you celebrated yourself? That's my question. Have you celebrated yourself? Zechariah 4:10 says, "Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin." Don't despise the day of small beginnings. Celebrate every small victory. Don't just wash over that, run by that like that was nothing. No. You just moved from A to B. Celebrate that. And then you celebrate from B to C. Celebrate it, right? So maybe your goal was to lose, you had some unrealistic goal of losing 5 pounds in a week. That's kind of, it's way out there. And of the 5 pounds you thought you wanted to lose in 1 week, you lost 2 realistic pounds, 2 healthy pounds, doing all of the right stuff. Well, you got to celebrate those 2 pounds, because there's 2 pounds this week, there's 2 pounds next week, it's 2 pounds the week after that, it's 2 pounds the week after, it's 8 pounds in a month. 8 pounds can change your dress size, change your pant size. That's 16 pounds in 2 months. That's 32 pounds in 4 months. That's 96 pounds in a year, right? Yeah, 96 pounds in a year. You lose a whole person in a year celebrating small victories. Now, if I got my math wrong, don't y'all? Do not do it. Do not do it. Moderators, if they do it, leave them alone. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." You got to celebrate those tiny steps. That's your fuel. Dr. B.J. Fogg, founder of the Behavior Design Lab at Stanford University and the author of Tiny Habits, explains, celebrating tiny successes. This is the magic trick of habit formation. The feeling of success is a signal to your brain. This is worth remembering and repeating. So what is it that you accomplished this week that you should be celebrating? that you haven't taken the time to celebrate? What is it? If it's something you can type in the chat, type it in the chat. Maybe you paid off a bill. Maybe you got a job. May not be the job of your dream, but you've been unemployed and you finally got a job. Type it in the chat, and let's celebrate that, because that is building. That's the fuel that's going to drive you all the way through to actualization, to the full manifestation of everything that God has put in you. And then number 4, the woman that would have unshakable confidence must protect her mind. You got to protect your mind. And what is this? This is your filter. Because the modern world is a barrage of information, comparisons, and negativity. Motivation, many times, cannot survive. Confidence cannot survive in a cluttered and toxic mental environment. So you gotta filter what you allow to plant in your mind versus what you allow to pass through and out. Protecting the mind means consciously filtering out what is harmful and intentionally consuming what is true, good, and uplifting. See? I love what the word says in Philippians 4:8. He says, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. You got to think about what you're thinking about. You got to protect your mind. See, like there's some things that I can't think about that right now. And so I've grown to a point where I can just put that off, let that sit there. Maybe it's something I need to come back to later. I'll let it sit there until I'm ready to deal with that. Sometimes it's stuff that I don't even need to deal with at all, so I just trash it. Whoop, you're gone. And I don't let that stuff just sit in my head, because I realize I have to protect my mind. If I'm going to maintain my confidence, I'm going to have to protect my mind. This is why the Bible says in Proverbs 4:23, guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life. If you just let anything plant in your brain, you're going to be frantic at best. You're going to be all over the place. You got to protect your mind. This is how you maintain a confidence that is unshakable. You got to guard your mind. You got to know what to receive and what not to receive. Carolyn Leaf says, your mind will steer you through the storm of your thinking if you take the time to listen and guide it. You are not a victim of your biology. You are the architect of your own brain. Therefore, you are the chemist of your own emotion, because thoughts lead to feelings. And so you can think yourself confident if you learn how to guard the gate of your mind, your eyes, your ears. Know when people are triggering you. Put distance between you and those people. Protect your mind. Some people are not good for your mind. Oh, I'm preaching better than y'all shouting. me see something here. Deke. Deke. Deke say I'm doing good. That's Deke back there. Y'all see Deke right there? Deke say I'm doing good. All right. Number 5. I only have 6, so I should be done early tonight. You got to learn to be kind to yourself. Now let's go through these again. Number 1, we said you got to know your purpose, because your purpose is your compass. You got to build supportive systems in your life, because that will become your map. Number 3, we said you got to celebrate tiny steps. That's your fuel. Then we said you got to protect your mind. That's your filter. But number 5, you got to be kind to yourself. This is your foundation. If nobody else in the world is good to you, you must be good to yourself. Because harsh and cruel self-criticism shatters confidence. It annihilates motivation. When you stumble, as all people do, as all human beings do, a foundation of self-compassion will allow you to get back up without being buried in shame and guilt and lethargy or hopelessness. You gotta learn to be good to you. It is the solid ground from which you can grow, learn from failure, and try again. You got to be good to you. It's the foundation of your life, because you're not guaranteed that anybody else in the world is ever going to be good to you. You're not guaranteed that anybody else in the world is ever going to speak life into you. You got to learn to speak it into yourself. You got to learn to be your own cheerleader. You got to learn to be, well, look what the Bible says right here in Psalm 103:8. The Lord is compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in love. You got to learn to love yourself like the Lord loves you. And he's what? Compassionate. Now watch this. You can love everybody else like this, but something's made you believe that you don't deserve this same kind of compassion, so you don't even give it to yourself. So what has to happen is you must replace the old familiar inner critic with an inner coach. The inner critic sits on the sideline saying, oh, you done fell down, you done fallen off. The inner coach says, come on, get back up. You got more in you. Get up, come on. Let's try again. Dust yourself off. Let's try it again. The critic saying, oh, it's hopeless. You might as well just lay down. It's just don't even try no more. But the coach says, we're going to do this. You're going to win today. You got to get rid of that old familiar inner critic, and you got to replace that inner critic with an inner coach. And you got to learn to love yourself like you would love others. What would you say to somebody else who's had a rough week like you had last week? Would you say to them the stuff you've been saying to you? Absolutely not. Romans 8:1 says, therefore, there is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. God doesn't condemn you. You're not condemned. You're operating in grace. You have an opportunity to get it right, to do it big, even bigger. Dr. Kristen Neff says, self-compassion involves acting the same way towards yourself when you're having a difficult time, fail or notice something you don't like about yourself as you would towards a good friend. Instead of just ignoring your pain, you stop to tell yourself, this is really difficult right now. How can I comfort and care for myself in this moment? Stop waiting on others to do it for you. Learn to do it for yourself. This is how you build unshakable confidence, and this is how you maintain confidence in your life and motivation. See, you got to learn to speak kindly to yourself. Handle yourself kindly and gently and not so harsh. Because the way you treat yourself educates those around you as it relates to how they should treat you. And when you allow that inner critic to rule the day, you attract that kind of energy in your external relationships. Your internal relationship is calling for the same quality in your external relationships. So if you don't love yourself internally, you're calling for friends. You're calling for, lovers or boyfriends, girlfriends, or whatever, husbands, wives, that will treat you the same way you feel about yourself inwardly. And then number 6, if you want to build an unshakable confidence and maintain a life of motivation, you must connect with others. Now you can be assembled with people that you never connected to. You can be in the same space and place with people and never connect. Because connection is a synergy. It speaks of synergy. It speaks of oneness. It speaks of harmony. Not just proximity, but harmony. And in connecting with others, this is your crew. The journey is not meant to be walked alone. A crew, a community of friends, like thinkers, mentors, family, or faith groups provides encouragement, accountability, perspective, and strength. That your connect group celebrates your wins. They help to carry your burdens, and they remind you of who you are when you forget. That's how you know who you're connected to. They do for you what you should have done for yourself when you're not capable of doing it. They never let you fall. They never let you quit. They never let you fail. They never let you feel like you're in it by yourself. Come on now. Some of you all are going to find people that do not share your ethnicity, do not have your blood, were not born in your city, your state, your country. And they're going to be more supportive than some of the people you call family. But you got to pray for those that you connect with and those that connect to you. The Bible puts it this way in Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. It says, 2 are better than one, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. It gives you confidence when you know you have dependable, reliable people in your circle. Hebrews 10:24-25 says, and let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another. That's the whole purpose of the church assembly, is to connect and to find strength in our numbers. and in our agreement, in our harmony. Brene Brown says we don't have to do all of it alone. We were never meant to. You're trying to be a lone ranger. You're trying to do all of this by yourself, but you are never meant to do it all by yourself. You are meant to have the aid or the help of others. And when you have just a few good people in your corner, it strengthens your confidence. Now, my prayer for you today is that the Spirit of God would just breathe upon you and give you a supernatural revelation of His love for you. My prayer for you is that every part of you that has been drained by the pressures of life, the injuries of the world, every part of you that is broken will be healed. And that God will lift you higher than you ever imagined you could go. This is your season. I declare it in the name of the Lord. This is your season. What was meant to break you has only strengthened you. In Jesus' name, amen. Listen, if you need counseling, I want you to go to the description, find the link for BetterHelp Counseling. Hit that link, and if you use BetterHelp, they will use that link. BetterHelp will give you 10% off of the cost of their counseling. And because I recommended them, they will make a deposit into RC Blake's Ministries. Now, I've enjoyed myself. Thanks to all of you who may have sown into our lives. Thanks to the moderators. You all are just the very, very best. Thanks to all of you. If you've not joined the Royal Court, you should do that. We have an amazing time every month on our Zoom calls. We have special playlists just for members only, where it's content that's just curated for Royal Court members. If you've not joined the Royal Court, do it tonight. It's a great way, easy way, affordable way to support the ministry and to connect with our community. If you've not gone to get my books, Father-Daughter Talk, Queenology, Training for Reigning, and so many others, go to Amazon now and pick any or all of my books up. That's another way to support the ministry. Now, I think I'm done. I think I've said everything that I need to say. Hey, don't forget to go to rcblakes.com and hit the link for our 2026 Europe trip. We're going to Italy in June, and a lot of interest, so it's going to be filled up very soon, if not already. Go and fill it out. We'd love to have you, excuse me, in Italy with Lisa and I. We're going to do 4 cities in Italy, so we'd love to have you. Now, I have thoroughly enjoyed my time with you today. I really, really, really have. And I want to say thanks for all of the support you all always give me. Lisa and I love you. And I'm thinking I'm missing something, but I can't think of what that something is. So I'll just close with this. You're on top. You're going higher. God has more in store for you. I want you to have an amazing night. God bless you, Queens. I appreciate you.
My queen, my queen. Oh, she. Oh, she. Beautiful, wonderfully made. She's heaven's angel. So strong, even in struggle, yeah. When life comes like a storm from every angle, she rises above it all, the backbone of every home. Nothing compares to all she do. brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama, yeah, and Jesus too. Oh, she's sophisticated, strong, simply amazing, humble, honest, and helpful, educated, ebony, eccentric, empowering. She's a queen. She's a queen. You better treat her like a queen. Oh. Her strength is amazing. Life inside, 9 months she's carrying. Back to work, cause the family she's carrying. Society don't give her just due, but she prevails and stands tall. A champion, a true woman. But nothing compares to all she do. Yeah, the true meaning of every family. She's the glue. Yeah, oh. And where would we be without you? Yeah, you brought us Martin, Malcolm, and Obama, and Jesus too. Oh, she is sophisticated, strong, yeah, simply amazing, humble, honest, and helpful. Not only that you are educated, yes you are, eccentric, empowering. You're my, she's a queen. You're my, you're my.